Hello, this is the show for salespeople and their leadership wanting expert B2B sales insights and ideas. It helps them to become even better at generating revenues. My name is Gert Schultz. Welcome to Best Practice for Sales Professionals. And today's subject is how to develop key accounts in payments. So today's guest is a payments professional. After a distinguished career with First Data and Global Payments, she now consults with Tier 1 merchants, the very, very large merchants out there. Now, she believes in a structured approach for key account management. Ros Berry, welcome to the show.
Hi, Gert. Thanks for having me.
Ros, thanks for coming on the show and making the time. So my first question is, how do you convince one of those very large merchants to work with you?
Yeah, thanks, Gert. Well, I appreciate. I've been in the payment industry quite a long time now, over 20 years. My career expanding the North American markets and here in Europe. So I've managed to build quite a distinguished network through previous employers, projects, and past relationships with Tier 1 merchants I've had over the years. So that really lends well for me and my business and being an independent consultant. But I never rested there. I think it's still key to constantly renew and build your network. So good ways to do that is, LinkedIn is obviously a very great forum to do some networking. Joining some, there's lots of great payment groups out there, payment forums. Anything in the merchant payment space, I think you can never get involved enough or meet any shortage of new contacts. And I think once, when you get the consultancy role, it's doing the role to a high standard because it does become word of mouth once you're out there and doing various projects. Some are very short projects, some can be long. So you want to build a reputation when you're doing that. And what I found too is stick to what you know in consulting. So for me, it's more of a global acquiring strategy or global partner strategy and various compliance issues within the payment industry. As tempting as it is, sometimes some opportunities will come your way that might not just be your area of expertise in payments. And as tempting as that is, you must turn it down and stick to what you know. And the outcome will be far greater, and the word of mouth and reputation becomes that much greater from the work that you've performed.
Well, that is just fascinating, Ros, because as such an expert in your field, you still have to go out there and find new clients and nurture the existing relationships.
Absolutely.
That's fascinating. So I know you're passionate about account management. Why should payment companies consider a separate sales team from a key account management team?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I've seen many hybrid roles over the years. Where some smaller companies and larger to an extent will think that they can combine a hybrid role with an actual true hunter with a quota and also maintaining that relationship. And I just don't think it works for various reasons. We have sellers out there to do what it says on the tin. They're out to sell and drive new business, and that's their focus, and as it should be. And if you're building your funnel, your pipeline, if you have to manage, especially a Tier 1 client alongside getting new business, something's going to give at some point there. You can't be all things at all times. So I think they're very distinct selling propositions, account management and direct sales. So, where sales focuses on net new business, relationship management, account management focuses on maintaining that existing business, the growth and delivering, what promises or contractual obligations that the seller sold. So they become everything to that client. They become their trusted advisor. These are long contract terms with these clients. They're growing over the years with that client, and lining their business corporate strategy to the client's business corporate strategy. Where are those synergies? What can we plan for? What can we sell is ongoing. But as a whole, they're the trusted advisor for everything that your company offers.
So what were the typical issues you came across when you wanted to introduce this key account management process?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the key, what I've learned from that is, coordination and alignment between departments. And I often see this is not connecting the dots. For example, sales, marketing, implementation, and relationship management should be all aligned and have their synergies working together. When we're talking, large key global accounts, oftentimes, at the beginning of the sales process, in the RP, will ask what kind of account management will they expect going down the road. So often relationship managers should be introduced even in the sales cycle, for example. Now, the seller's done a terrific job. It's going to come onboarding. There's a whole implementation onboarding process to that. Again, key that the dots are connected between sales, implementation, and key account management. It all must be aligned. There should be ownership definitions of who does what, at these various different stages before handover to the account manager. And this is critical because through that journey, the account manager's already built up a rapport now with the client. They know how their business operates from, in payments, from perhaps like a technical standpoint, and understanding those nuances. So when the account is finally transitioned to the account management team, it doesn't feel new. And they've helped on this client journey from sales to boarding to management. That should be seamless. And that's why coordination is absolutely key in this. Because I have seen it go wrong in the past when these synergies aren't aligned. And that's the customer journey into your organization. You really need to get that right at the beginning stage, because I find if you don't get that right, you lose trust fast. And then the account manager has to spend time to rebuild and regain that trust should things fail.
So in terms of best practice, what are the key elements, if you like, of good key account management in payments?
Yeah, the key to account management is account planning and account management plans. That's something that should be renewed every year on year. I used to do that every January, update the plans, even for existing clients. That's going to change. But I think the key points to define in key account management planning is defining your value of the account. So what's the profit potential? Where's the revenue drivers? Is this in support? Is this a new product growth? So you need to define what that value is of that client. You also need to define the support capabilities that you can offer to that client. So again, back to what the sellers promise, you need to team up your teams internally because you've got commitments on the table. Could be contractually, could be verbally, and you need to define what support it needs to be in place to support that client. And you also need to look at transactional cost drivers. So set the KPI and the performance to these accounts and what the expectation is. Those are the key I would say the key 3 steps. There's a lot more to it in the detail, but understanding overall what that relationship brings to your organization and your overall corporate strategy.
Yeah, amazing that you say planning is number 1. It seems such an open door, but at the same time, I do agree with you. It is so important.
Yeah.
Okay, Ros, to round off our conversation, what sort of top 3 tips would you give an organization that hasn't got a key account management process in place yet and is contemplating getting one?
Yeah, and again, tying into the back, I think the 3 things would be account strategy, organization and planning, and senior management strategic importance and buy-in. And that's key because these key accounts bring a lot of revenue to the account. So I think it has to come from the top down and the overall company objective each year from these key accounts. So the organization and planning, obviously, you've got many areas of the business you would need to consult in, if that's, increasing your tech stack, your implementation to other technology partners, how you're growing your product, organization and planning, and how that fits into these key strategic accounts. And that should be communicated from the account team, because they have the strategy in place, but it also really needs to align with the whole overall organization of your company and your top-down senior management and their overall objectives and what they want to achieve.
Thanks for coming on the show, giving your insights and ideas about key account management. Have a great day and hopefully speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
A pleasure.